So what's the deal with the mini toolboxes? They seem to be all the rage. When Harbor Freight first came out with their US General box, people were going crazy over them. You had scalpers going to the stores trying to pick up all the stock, and they were trying to resell them on eBay or Facebook Marketplace for way more than they got them for. If you weren't paying attention to this during that time, people were going really crazy for these things. It was pretty stupid, to be honest. The whole incident was essentially the Stanley mug, but for men. Regardless of that, we have a bunch of mini toolboxes today, and we're gonna put them head to head to see which one is best. The lineup includes US General from Harbor Freight, HyperTough from Walmart, Husky from Home Depot, and Kobalt from Lowe's. To start off with the prices, all of these prices are taken directly off the corresponding websites. The US General costs $19.99, the HyperTough is $23.88, the Husky is $19.98, and the Kobalt is $21.98. All of these boxes are seen as purchased, except for the US General box. It has a couple stickers on the lid, but that won't make any difference. All measurements here are done by me. They do have specifications on the websites. However, I saw some conflicting data, so I decided I would just measure everything myself so everything would be consistent. I weighed all the boxes, and the heaviest is the Husky at 5 pounds, 12 ounces. The US General is 5 pounds, 10 ounces, and both the HyperTough and the Kobalt weigh in at 5 pounds and 1 ounce. The dimensions of the boxes are all very similar, with the only variations being by a couple decimal points. They are all effectively the same size. The dimensions of the storage drawers is where we see more differences. The Husky and the Kobalt open up 180 degrees, while the US General and the HyperTough stop and hold open at 90 degrees like a traditional toolbox. Starting with the US General, the top, including the space in the lid, has a depth of 1 inch and 10.75 inches wide. From front to back, the top of the US General is 5.81 inches. The first drawer opens up 3.38 inches and has a 1 inch depth and a width of 8.5 inches. The second drawer also opens up 3.38 inches and has a depth of 2 inches and a width of 8.56 inches. Using a trigger pull gauge, I can measure the force needed to open up the drawers. Both drawers on the US General take about 2.5 pounds to open. The HyperTough has a taller top compartment with a depth of 2 inches. Because of the design of the top of the HyperTough, the width from edge to edge is 9.63 inches. The front to back length on the top of the HyperTough is a little bit less at 5.31 inches, and that's because it has a little lip on the front. The top drawer opens up 3.5 inches and has a 1.1 inch depth and a width of 8.5 inches. Because of the taller top compartment, the bottom drawer is the same as the top drawer. It opens up 3.5 inches the same and also has a 1.1 inch depth and a width of 8.56 inches. The HyperTough drawers take a lot of force to open when they're all the way shut, with each drawer needing 5.5 pounds of force. The Husky's total depth of the top compartment, including the lid, is 1 inch and a width of 10.75 inches. The top front to back length on the Husky is 5.81 inches. The top drawer opens 4.31 inches, which is the longest yet. It has a 1.1 inch depth and a width of 8.53 inches. The bottom drawer opens up 4.38 inches and has a depth of 2 inches and a width of 8.53 inches. The Husky does take quite a bit of force to open up at 3.5 pounds for each drawer, although it's still much less than the HyperTough. The Kobalt's top compartment has a total depth of 1 inch. This one does not come with liners, but it still seems to be about 1 inch. And a width of 10.75 inches. The top front to back length of the Kobalt is 5.75 inches. The top drawer opens up 3.63 inches and has a 1.1 inch depth and a width of 8.97 inches, which is a little bit wider than all the other ones. The bottom drawer opens also 3.63 inches and has a depth of 2 inches and this also has a width of 8.97 inches. The drawers on the Kobalt take very little force to open at just about 1.6 pounds. It doesn't feel like they're being held by anything, it's just simply a friction hold. All of the drawers themselves, from front to back, are 5 inches, but the HyperTough comes in at 4.94 inches, just a tiny bit less, and that's because it has this little overhang by the handle, and all the other ones are flat. Some main differences between all these toolboxes: all of the toolboxes have a smaller top drawer and a larger bottom drawer, except for the HyperTough, which has both drawers the same size, but it makes up for it with that slightly larger top section. So you're trading a larger bottom drawer for a larger top section. The Husky has a latching lid and a handle on the top for carrying it. With the Husky drawer taking slightly more force to open the drawers, they are less likely to open if you were carrying it around. Of the 4 toolboxes here, the Kobalt definitely feels the worst quality. First off, there's no little rubber pieces on the top lid for soft closing. All the other toolboxes have it, and the Kobalt does not, meaning when it closes, it's gonna be a loud bang every single time unless you slowly shut it. It's gonna be metal on metal every time. There's no liners included with the Kobalt as well. All these other toolboxes have liners included, while the Kobalt does not. You would have to buy them separately or put tools in without a liner. And there's no drawer slides on the Kobalt either. It just rides along the little channels using friction. All the other toolboxes have drawer slides, which make opening and closing the drawers nice and smooth, and the Kobalt is lacking that. That makes the drawers feel really cheap, and there is a lot of play in them. When you bring it all the way out, the drawers sag a little bit. And because it's just simply in those channels, it feels gritty, and sometimes the drawers bind up when you're pushing them in on an angle. Although the Kobalt is missing drawer slides, it actually makes up for it by having slightly wider drawers by about a ½ inch. A ½ inch doesn't seem like a lot, but especially for this size, that can be the difference between a tool fitting or not. These pliers are slightly over 9 inches in length. They don't fit in any of the top drawers, except for the Kobalt. They can go in the bottom of the other toolboxes, but they can only sit flat in the Kobalt. My favorite picks here are going to be the Husky and the US General. The Husky is unique with a latching lid and carrying handle, giving you options to be able to carry it around. Unlike the others with a glossy paint, the Husky has a textured matte paint. The Husky drawers are the smoothest, and the drawers come out considerably farther, making it easier to get tools in and out. Looking back at the measurements, the Husky drawers almost come out an inch farther than all the others. And it's not even the most expensive at $19.98. In fact, it's actually the cheapest of the 4 here. It's the cheapest by 1 cent over the Harbor Freight. But I also like the US General. The drawers are very smooth, although not as smooth as the Husky. The drawers actually close a lot nicer. They fall right into place, where on the Husky, you actually have to make an effort to push them in at the very end. They kind of snap into place. And on the US General, the top is a little more traditional to a toolbox where it opens up to 90 degrees and stays open. And although it's priced at $19.99 on the Harbor Freight website, there are often sales where these can be as low as $15. So overall, if I had to pick one for myself, I'd probably go with either the US General or the Husky. And what's funny is, in my opinion, the two that are not as nice, the HyperTough and the Kobalt, are in fact the most expensive ones, with the HyperTough being the most expensive and the Kobalt being the second most expensive. And as far as the colors go, today I have the Husky in green, the HyperTough in red, the Kobalt in blue, and the Harbor Freight in gray. But there's a lot of other different colors. In fact, the HyperTough comes in actually just 2 colors, red and black. The Husky comes in 3 colors, a green, a black, and a gray, which looks blue on their website. It's called Cadet Gray. The US General comes in 6 different colors, and the Kobalt comes in a staggering 12 different colors and designs. That is a lot of different colors, so Kobalt definitely has the most amount of colors to choose from. Although it seems the Husky and the HyperTough are a little bit newer to the market, so maybe more colors will follow. There are other mini toolboxes out there, but these are the common ones that you can find at the big box stores, and they're all around the same price. Well, let me know what you guys think of mini toolboxes. Which one is your favorite? That's all for today.